Speed, agility, death and destruction. Yes please! Welcome to this Trickster showcase video, intended to give you a basic idea of what to expect when you decide to give Trickster a shot. It's one of my favorite melee builds in the game. Playing a Trickster feels properly visceral, slicing and dicing through hordes of monsters without breaking much of a sweat. A highly fast-paced, destructive and surprisingly durable build, eager to color the walls with ethereal blood. For this class you will need to combine Shaman with Nightblade, an effective combination in both damage and survivability. What I personally chose to do was going to level 10 as a Nightblade, putting 1 point in each of the default attack skills while putting the remaining points in the mastery. Then I chose to put 1 point in Pneumatic Burst for survivability and 1 point in Breath of Balgothian, followed by Shadow Strike for amazing single target damage and mobility to boot. At level 10 I chose to immediately go for the Shaman skills, putting the remaining points in Savagery to gain access to our main default attack, which is also one of the stronger default skills in the game, raising damage per second to sometimes insane high numbers while in combat. After maxing out Savagery, you can decide to invest points into the Shaman Mastery to reach Mogdrogon's Pact for 1 point, before going to Heart of the Wild for an incredible boost in durability. Or you can invest more points in the Nightblade tree to reach Ring of Steel and have a fairly good area of effect attack that provides helpful crowd control by way of the freeze effect from Ring of Frost. I'd recommend also putting 1 point in Blade Barrier for an extra line of defense. Eventually, you'll want to max out the Mastery to gain access to Execute, which synergizes extremely well with Savagery. Since I'm not close to max level myself, I can't really say with certainty what would be perfect for this build, but my own idea is to spend more points in Execute and Whirling Death, before investing points to increase the damage of attacks like Ring of Steel and Shadow Strike. Either way, I hope this will give you at least an idea of how to start out and what to focus on. Now let's take a look at the devotion. You'll want to focus on Pierce, Bleed and physical damage, and for that reason it might be a good idea to first max out Falcon and tie the skill Falcon Swoop to Savagery. Falcon Swoop is a surprisingly effective ability since its effect goes through enemies, giving you some ranged damage capabilities. Afterwards, I would recommend maxing Assassin's Blade and tying the skill Assassin's Mark to Shadow Strike for better single target damage, and max out Hammer to gain access to Blades of Nadan for good extra damage. However, this devotion does require the use of swords. Then I put points in Lion and lastly Assassin to have enough constellation points free to unlock Unknown Soldier for an even greater damage increase. As for items, with items focus on attack speed, preferably swords to maximize the usefulness of Blades of Nadan and go for physical damage, piercing damage and bleeding damage on items, ideally in that order. As a relic I use Rampage for a good increase in damage. The playstyle of this build is, like mentioned earlier, fast-paced and brutal. Not only that, but surprisingly durable as well, with help of Blade Barrier, Pneumatic Burst and Heart of the Wild. Blade Barrier is perfect to use when in trouble and when Pneumatic Burst is on cooldown, because when the effect of Blade Barrier wears off, there's a good chance the cooldown of Pneumatic Burst is already refreshed to be used again. I have not seen all classes in the game, but I can say from personal experience that I have not yet played a class that is stronger in the single target department. Any opposition to the Trickster absolutely melts. Interested in more content by me? Be sure to check out my playlists linked in the description, or even subscribe to help this channel grow. Thanks for watching and I wish you a fantastic day.